Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Rosie here, and I play Dead by Daylight, so you don't have to. Today we're gonna go into something I got on my comment for the last video we made about the Keystone killer, and then also we had this kind of a debate on the podcast when Billy came up on the tier list. I'm gonna go into Billy for a second, okay? I don't normally talk about Hillbilly very much because it's really not my place. Yeah, I'm not his best player in the entire world. That being said, my plan after this video is to actually start working with them a lot more. I think my next stream I'm going to do all Billy. I want to talk about why Hillbilly is not a Keystone character. A lot of people seem to think he is better than he is right now. Although I still continue to believe that opinion is changing. I still continue to believe people are realizing he's not the best. But I want to go into why the Hillbilly is not a Keystone, okay? I think if you want to examine this closely, you have to think about the old Hillbilly in relation to the new one, okay? Because Hillbilly got nerfed. Y'all remember that, right? That was fucking horrible, okay? When he was nerfed, the devs completely nerfed the wrong stuff. Everything about his nerf was just wrong. Like from the base kit changes to the add-ons that were really bad and those were laughingly bad. His add-on kit that they made for him is probably one of the worst add-on kits in the entire game. Okay, now to be fair, it's not as bad as it was on release because they did go and fix a few things, but probably he's got one of the worst add-on kits in the game. Okay, I'm thinking about making another tier list for killers based entirely on add-on kits, but we'll get into that later. But Hillbilly's add-ons do pretty much nothing for him. That's not how it used to be. Okay, Hillbilly, ladies and gentlemen, was only a top 3 character in this game when you stacked the saws, when you had insta-saw. When you had primer bulb and spark plug combined, or I think there was a few other add-ons that reduced the charge time as well that were higher in rarity. Or maybe that was just Bubba, not entirely sure. But this character was only top 3 when you had insta-saw, and that was the 100% fact of the situation. Limitless instant down, limitless mobility, and with no and it wasn't very hard to hit either because of those insta-saws. Okay, so we can talk about whether it was good or bad to nerf the insta-saw. In the current meta, no. In the current meta, the insta-saw deserves to be here. But in terms of a healthy game, probably they needed to get taken out eventually, okay? But the point is, during that when Billy's reign in the top 3 of this game, okay, one of the most common things people would always say when they would place him on tier lists is that base kit Billy isn't very good. Base kit Billy isn't very good. I think True Town was another huge forefront of that. I think he said latency helps him, which it does. But base kit Billy was never out of the mid tiers. He was never out of mid tier. Base kit, just no add-ons, just running the Hillbilly by himself. He was never out of the mid tiers. Okay, so when you nerf him and you not only take away the insta-saw, but you also give him horrendous base kit changes and horrendous base kit nerfs, what does that do to him? Well, if he's already a mid-tier in the base kit, what does that do to him? It did exactly what it did, and it knocked him down a whole tier. Well, the nerf shot him down like 3 tiers because of how bad it was, total. But base kit Billy even went down a tier because of his nerf, the overheat. The overheat, I will continue to say, is not actual resource management because you can't avoid it. Actual resource management is about avoiding downsides through good plays. That's always what it really is. Because if you're using the saw over and over again, you just overheat. That's not resource management. It's not. It's just a limitation. It's purely and simply a limitation. Real resource management would be if I hit the chainsaw, my overheat meter goes away. It goes down. And so I hit my chainsaw fast, I get reward. Or hitting a healthy survivor with the chainsaw lowers the overheat rate more, or something like that. He has no mechanics into him built in to limit the overheat other than just waiting and not using it. That's why it's a limitation. Okay? And that hurts his zoning, that hurts everything, that hurts his mobility, zoning, pressure, downs, everything about him is nerfed by just having a limitation on him, okay? So, Why is he not Keystone? Because you could say, well, he could still be Keystone even with that. Old Billy was Keystone. Old mid-tier Billy without Instasaw. Old Billy with no Instasaw. That was a Keystone character. Him. That Hillbilly. That thing walking around in the game right now calling itself Hillbilly, that's not a Keystone. It's slightly too small. Now again, he's not like horrible. He's not like the worst character in the game. He's still worth looking at. As you can see, I have him right below the Keystones. Okay? But I think he is the perfect character to fit on that line. It's like, wow, he's not Keystone. He was, and then they nerfed him. Like, he fits that line in the same way that Freddy fits the line the other way. This is kind of a, out of date, there. Freddy fits that line. Freddy and Bubba are they're definitely good examples. They definitely fit the line for being slightly above Keystone, but not other than that. Because Freddy and Bubba have, like, Bubba's got the best camp game in Dead by Daylight, and then Freddy has teleport. No matter how average they are in other departments, the fact that they have those things makes it so they're not Keystone. They're too good. That camp game on Bubba, he's not Keystone. Freddy's teleportation is too away from M1 killer baseline fundamentals to be Keystone. He's not Keystone with that teleport. He's not, because Bubba's not Keystone with that camping. Billy is not Keystone with that overheat limitation. He's simply not. He's a very good character that's right below the Keystones, okay? Now again, if they tweaked the mechanic a little bit, gave it a few buffs, and made it so it was actual resource management, he got rewards for hitting his stuff, you know, or I don't know, something like that. Maybe you could, if you go straight, you get less. If they did something like that to like continue to like make it resource management, because any buff and change you make to make it actual resource management helps the Hillbilly. If they were to actually look at it again and give it a few more tweaks, he could be Keystone. He has potential to be Keystone, just not right now. He needs a few buffs first, okay? And I think that is the core of my argument, so I'm going to go ahead and go. But I don't know. What do you guys think about Hillbilly? Tell me in the comments below. I'm going to go get the hell out of here.